the minute I started making these little charming little accordion books, I was like, oh, like something clicked. And I literally just haven't looked back. Hi, my name is Ali Manning from Vintage Page Designs, and I am thrilled to be joined by Vintage Page Designs marketing manager, Amber Weaver. Hey,
Hi.
Hi. Amber is, as I mentioned, our marketing manager. She lives in Robesonia, Pennsylvania, with her husband, her 2 teenage boys, a cat and a dog, and she is a retired wire artist. So, but we're trying to persuade her to become a book artist. Amber has been with the company for almost 2 years now, and she is a vital part of our team. We thought it would be fun today if Amber sort of reintroduced me to our community by just doing a fun interview rather than just me kind of doing a monologue. Why don't you take it away, Amber?
Absolutely. Well, we know inquiring minds wants to know so much more about Ali. I'm going to start off with some more long form questions, and then at the end, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. So, are you ready for that?
I am. I don't know what that, just FYI, I don't know what they are.
Ali does not know what these questions are going to be. So, we're going to be just flying off the cuff here. I think we should start with how did you even get into making handmade books? Like, what initially attracted you to this art?
Grab a cup of tea. It's a long story. I grew up in England. I was always making things from paper and sewing. Loved to sew as a kid. I was the kid that made, her grandma those like little samplers to go on her dressing table, and bookmarks. So I was a really crafty kid. Loved anything made from paper. I never thought that art would be any kind of career. It was just something I did for fun. Fast forward, went to college, got a job, got married, and then I had my first child. So 2 things happened when my daughter Hannah was born. I was about 30. After a couple of years, I realized like the house was filled with craft supplies. And to be honest, they weren't really for my daughter. They were for me. So that was like, oh, that's interesting. But the biggest thing that really happened and how I got into making books was that was through feeling a little inadequate, to be honest, because around the time that she's 23 now, so this was, the early 2000s, scrapbooking was huge. And, like many people, I really aspired to sort of create, capture some of the memories of my child and having this crafty bent. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. But I just couldn't do the whole 12 by 12 scrapbook and, all of the layouts and the embellishments. I think I must have like 3 finished pages because I was just, as a new mom, I know, right? I was a new parent. I could barely shower or eat, let alone make a 12 by 12 scrapbook page and capture all these perfect moments and then do all the journaling. It was just beyond me. So in some ways, I feel like learning to make books grew out of like this inadequacy of not being able to be the perfect mom who scrapbooked every moment of her child's life. So what happened was, I would take pictures, and we didn't even have phones then. So I would take pictures with a camera and then I'd print them and then nothing would happen with them. So I started literally just making these teeny tiny little accordion books for her with just the pictures. I don't think there was even any words on these books. They were literally just the pictures, like, here's pictures of your family, here's pictures of your friends. And really, the minute I started making these little charming little accordion books, I was like, oh, like something clicked. And I literally just haven't looked back. That's really how it started, wanting to capture memories and feeling completely inadequate.
Look where it is today now. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But what would you say is your favorite binding and why?
I have a few favorite bindings. So I have to tell you, the accordion book structure really is like, I love that just because it was like the first book I ever made.
Yes.
And there's just something about the simplicity of an accordion binding. And I also love a Coptic binding because that was the first like stitch binding I ever made. And it honestly took me a couple of years because I couldn't find any decent instructions because there was no such thing as YouTube. So it took me a long time to learn the Coptic binding. But when I did, like, something clicked. It's like, I can sew with paper. It's like, oh. So yeah, I think I would say the accordion and the Coptic binding are my 2 favorites. But really, it's like trying to choose your favorite candy. Like how, it just depends on your. I would say favorite child, but I've only got one. So, but it's like, it just depends on my mood and like what, what I want to do, what I want to say. But those two are my sort of fallback ones. So,
So you're pretty much self-taught then,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, I really am. Yeah. I've taken I've taken some proper bookbinding classes, like traditional classic how to bind, a hardcover book. But I'm looking at my bookshelf now. But the way I have learned is by looking through like older books, like, from antique stores and things, and just,
Mhm.
dusty, lovely, smelly old books on bookbinding is how I learnt all of the basics, and then just kind of taught myself. Yeah. So I've got along.
That's cool. That's cool. I never knew that. Hmm.
Ah, there you go.
So, do you actually use most of the books that you make?
No. No, I
No?
don't. Unapologetic. Look, they're all some of them are right here. So I would say maybe I use a quarter of the books I make. I mean, obviously because I'm teaching, I'm probably creating more perhaps than the average person. But even if I wasn't, I like making them for their own sake. So I like
Mhm.
making blank books for their own sake. I also like making books with something in that I've intended for the content to be in there when I'm creating the book. And then I do like to use them, once they're created, if that makes sense. There's like three types of books, but I feel like creating them is like an end in itself. I like making books just because the act of making a book. And I do fill them as well.
Well, that takes me into my next question. When you do fill them, what's your favorite thing to fill them with?
I write, I journal a lot.
Mhm.
So the ones that are appropriate for that, I'll do a lot of journaling in. Like I read a lot. So a lot of what I journal about is what I'm reading. So a lot of
Okay.
quotes and sort of thoughts
Oh,
on what
I
I'm
like
reading.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
neat.
So yeah, so a lot, aside from journaling, this is what happened in my day, or here's a problem. I journal a lot about what I'm reading because I'm a big reader. The other piece is, I use a lot of them for photographs because, we all take lots of photographs. So I do every few months print out pictures, and I do actually put pictures in a book. And then the other one is like travel journals. So I do create quite a lot of travel journals, and they're like a junk journal because they're filled with my everyday ephemera. They're not no, they're not a junk journal that you would maybe print off someone else's ephemera. They're like journals that I put my own personal, receipts and
Mhm.
business cards I pick up places and beer mats and just fun things that I like, bits of paper that I see everywhere. I'm always collecting the bits of paper. So I create sort of everyday junk journals and travel journals as well. So there's always piles of stuff everywhere. Like, because I've just come back from a trip, I have like a huge stack of stuff.
Oh, fun.
You
Yes.
know,
Very fun. Fun,
yeah.
fun.
So lots of different ways to use journals for me, anyway.
Well, then, what would you say is like the most unusual or unexpected thing that you've ever put in one of your journals?
Well, I don't know if this is unusual, but I do tend to put like a lot of. I like to put like natural things in, so like dried seed pods. I love to put in, and like leaves and dried flowers. I don't think that's terribly unusual, but I do love shoving stuff like that in. One of my favorite books is a French link stitch book that I made with my daughter's pajamas. So I do really like using like clothes.
Oh,
I'm looking at another book now that's got like a blouse of mine that I really liked, but it just got stained or whatever. So I like to include clothing and like buttons from different things that are meaningful, and just it's more like found bits and pieces. So whether they're unusual or not, I don't know. But
so this is a question that we often ask our book club members, or if someone's taking a challenge. It's just something we always like to put out there, and I want to know: do you listen to anything or watch anything while you're creating your books?
okay, I was
I
wondering
always
what you're
think
going
it's
to
fun to
ask
see
then.
how people respond to this.
I never watch anything. Honestly, it's mostly audiobooks, just hours and hours and hours of audiobooks. But it sort of depends. If I'm just creating the book and I've made the book before, then I don't really need to concentrate and I can just sew a book and listen to the audiobook. But if it's a new binding or something that I have to concentrate on, then it just has to be quiet so I can
Mhm.
think. So
Yeah. How did the Handmade Book Club come to be?
let's go back to, making accordion books and scrapbooks. So, I continue to learn and teach myself how to make books. I found the Stampington magazines like Somerset Studio. I discovered those in about 2006. And like my brain just like blew up, and that sort of opened me up to the mixed media world. It was very weird. Like I got the magazine and I instantly just like, I knew I'd found my place because all these other people just collected all this stuff. And I sort of, yeah, I just kind of found my home there within like those Stampington magazines. And like very quickly afterwards, I just started submitting and getting my work accepted. And that really kind of gave me a confidence that I perhaps hadn't had before. And it made me think, oh, maybe I should start teaching. So I did start teaching in around 2007, not just books, but other paper crafts as well, in person. And I started the blog in 2007. But I mean, that was a long time ago, like 2007 was a long time ago. What I discovered was that I love to teach, but what I really liked best was the bringing together of the people in the class. So I'd have the same group of 10, like month after month after month, different groups of 10 women. And it's just something magical when you bring people, women in particular. It didn't have to be women, but when you bring people together to make things. So that really sort of lit a fire for me. And I created a couple of online communities, like challenge blogs and things. So it like wasn't one of these like overnight, oh, this is what I'm going to do. It like built slowly over the years, like the teaching built and the realizing I loved, community kind of built. And then I'm like, I could have an online community. And then, social media came along. I'm like, oh, there's a thing called Facebook. So it was really, really gradual that it built up and built up and built up. And, I had an Etsy shop and I taught in person. And then, I sold at shows and like, I pretty much did all the things. I got a studio outside the house where I could have more people for classes. But what I really, really wanted to do was create an online community of bookmakers, because the groups I was teaching were small because it's pretty niche. But what I really wanted was a larger community, and I knew that I'd have to go online and teach online to do that. And, that was 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017. It was scary. I didn't know. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to have people look at me and judge me and everything. So, I put it off and I put it off and I put it off and put it off. So, yeah, I lost my best friend in 2019. So from like January 2018 to January 2019, she was sick with pancreatic cancer. And, she was gone within the year. And I just, something clicked. She left behind 2 teenage children, for heaven's sake. She missed out on she didn't make 50. She missed out on like so much of her life. And I just thought, oh, get a grip, really. I mean, really, like after all she's been through and now her kids are going to have to go through it, I can't just like get myself on camera and swallow this fit. You know what I mean? Like it kind of put things into a little bit of perspective. So, I could have taught online classes, just one-off online classes, but I was really craving that community as well as the teaching piece. So that's why later in 2019, I created the Handmade Book Club, and we haven't really looked back. And I like to think we've created that community, and I like to think we've taught quite a few people to make books. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from. That again, that kind of, I felt inadequate, like, oh, I can't do it, just like the scrapbooking. And I just thought, oh, come on, pull yourself together.
A beautiful story. Oh, I'm like,
you're funny
over here. I guess now, what would you say is your favorite part about the Handmade Book Club? I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Do you really? What are you going to say? Well, tell me what you think I'm going to say.
I think you're going to say the community.
Yeah, the people. Yeah. I was talking with Liz Constable yesterday, and she's like, I was just raving about our members. She's like, oh, well done. The Handmade Book Club's great. I'm like, well, it is. And I don't feel like it's just me. Like it's just, it's our team, but it's also, it's the members who have made this. It's kind of beyond my control a little bit. I've just created a container for them, and then they're the ones who have populated it with kind and encouraging and inspiring folks. Yeah. So yeah, that really is that's the piece that I'm most proud of.
Well, you helped create that community, so it's awesome. Do you have a most memorable Handmade Book Club memory?
There's loads. I remember like the very first time we had our very first community call, and honestly, I remember being so nervous. Like I've got married, I got a baby, like I think I've done quite a lot of hard things. It was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do is just go on camera live, and like I had to have a glass of wine afterwards.
Oh my goodness.
I remember like yesterday, it was like I just. And then another memory is whenever I get to meet members in person, like that's really special. Just like this instant bond. I've been to a few meetups with Handmade Book Club members, and like they're instantly all best friends. Like we all feel like we've known each other for years, just because of this common bond of making books together and being in the book club together. So that's happened many times. And I'd say the other really precious memory is last April when the team got together for the first time in person, like here in my studio. And I know, wasn't it fun?
It was so fun.
It was so fun. And just sitting around a table and like brainstorming ways that we could make the community even better. And then birthing this idea of handmade acts of kindness. And then just all of us being so excited about like where that could go. That was pretty amazing. So
that was amazing.
Watch this space for handmade acts of kindness.
I know. I'm like, I cannot wait until we can share more about that.
How about you? Is there anything that you really remember?
I mean, I would say I'm on track too with us all finally getting together. And, that really resonates with me. And like, you're online with these people, and you see their faces and you talk with them, you interact with them, and, finally getting to meet them in person is just the coolest thing. That's why I'm so excited for a retreat in May. We're having a Handmade Book Club retreat for book club members, and we're going to get to meet a whole bunch of them coming up. So I'm super, super excited for that. I think that's going to end up being like my most memorable. I'm already predicting that's going to be mine.
You're funny.
I'm predicting. Are you ready for the rapid fires?
Okay.
Rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And these are just going to be kind of all random. So, would you rather be a character on Friends or on Seinfeld?
Oh, Seinfeld for sure. Yeah. I don't have the hair to be on Friends.
If you had a time machine, would you rather travel to the past or the future?
Oh, the past. I'd go back to Regency England. That's right. I should be. Yeah, I should be in a Jane Austen novel, just so you know.
Okay, what's your favorite board game?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, board game. Well, I mean, you know what I love? Rummy Cub. Is that a board game though? It's with tiles. Maybe that's not a board game.
No, I would say that's a board game.
I love Rummy Cub. And, I love Scrabble too. But I mean, who doesn't love Scrabble? But yeah, I love Rummy Cub.
Oh, good one. Good one. Favorite holiday?
Christmas. Yeah, it's got to be Christmas. Yeah. Cozy.
Favorite junk food?
Oh, chips. Oh, just salty Lay's, any kind of potato chips. Cheesy puffs. Lay's potato chips, Walker's, any kind of potato chips. Oh,
do you like salt and vinegar?
I don't mind salt and vinegar. Yeah. Any kind. There's a British one like Monster Munch. I'll eat, or What's It's, or I know. Yeah. Don't ask. I'll get you some.
Are their chips better than our chips?
Afraid so. Yeah, much better. Much better. I'll get some for when you come visit.
That would be great.
That would taste test.
If your bookbinding all was a parrot that could repeat the phrase that you say most, what would the parrot say? What's the phrase you use most to yourself when you're making your books that you just utter out?
Well, I can't repeat that, can I? You know what I say? People don't live like this. Like, I'm always making mistakes. I'm like, people don't live like this. So when I'm video recording, we have an editor called Ash, and I talk to him as I'm hi Ash, as I'm recording, like, oh, just scrap that bit, Ash, or, I can't, don't show me threading the needle. Like, I'm threading the needle for like 10 minutes. Cut out me threading the needle for 10 minutes, please, Ash. Make me look like I'm competent. So he may say, I say all the time, people don't live like this, because I'm
so funny.
Because I feel like I make so many mistakes. So
I love it. One of my favorite things that you say is "Heavens to Betsy."
Heavens to Betsy.
I love that one. Every time you say it, I'm over here just grinning.
I'm probably not the best person to ask though, because I probably don't even know I'm saying the stuff.
Yeah, that's why the parrot would have to tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
Bookbinding all, that's a parrot. If you had a magic genie in your studio, what's the number one wish you would ask for it to do?
Well, just make more hours in the day. More out, yeah, more hours in the day to make stuff. Yeah, if I could have a 28-hour day, and so that I could just have, even 26, so I could have 2 hours a day just to make stuff because I want to make it for no good reason. That's what my genie would do.
What's your spirit animal? Do you have a spirit animal?
I don't know if I have maybe a teacup pig. That might be my spirit. Think of all the potato
I
chips.
love it. That's cute. That's
Okay.
cute. We'll go with that one.
All right, fine.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is the final one.
Okay.
Would you rather have a photographic memory or be able to read minds?
Oh no, I think I'd rather read minds.
Read
Although
minds.
then again, would I though? Would I want to know what people are really thinking? Remember, I could read my dog's mind. That might be kind of interesting.
Ah, that's good.
That'd be
Yeah, if we could
useful.
read animal minds.
Yeah, I could
Yes,
read
if we could
animals.
read our pets' minds, that would be really cool.
Great questions, though.
Thanks. Well, that's what we've got today. So thanks, Ellie, for sharing all of that. That
Oh,
was really fun. I learned some new things.
thank you, Amber. I really appreciate you doing this, and hopefully, folks have learned some new things. And if not, you've just been entertained for the last half an hour while you've been sewing a book or having a cup of tea. So, all right, my friends, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. And if you liked this and found it fun, then please hit the like button as well. And we will catch you all very soon. Thanks, folks. Bye.
Take care. Bye.